Hey Remoras, it's me, Mr. Sharx. So, evolution. It's either wonderful and sweet or a living nightmare. You either survive and thrive to start a dynasty or die with nothing to show for your existence. It's scary to think of how easily you and I could have never existed. As seen in the BBC's documentary, Walking With Monsters. Monsters, which we'll call to save time, are only alive for so long, is the final installment in the Walking With trilogy and is mostly based in the Paleozoic era, an era often overlooked in favor of the dinosaur-ruled Mesozoic. I mean, there is a 6-year gap between the release of Walking With Dinosaurs and Monsters and 4 years between Walking With Beasts and Monsters. Nonetheless, in 2005 we finally got to see the BBC's take on a time filled with diverse creatures, biomes, and events. There are 3 episodes that squeeze in the Cambrian, Ordovician, Silurian, Devonian, Carboniferous, Permian, and also the Triassic, hence why I said mostly in the Paleozoic. That's 282 million years crammed into a runtime only half that of Walking With Dinosaurs and Walking With Beasts, and they didn't feel padded out at all. As a result, the time spent in every environment is very brief. The show is always jumping from one time period to the next to show the many wars fought for supremacy until the reptiles formed a monopoly in the latter half of the Triassic, an era that the whole documentary pretty much builds up to. Whereas Dinosaurs and Beasts shifts focus to a new setting every episode, Monsters has a point A to point B structure. There's a transition to every new setting done through an animation depicting the evolution of one animal to another. It's an important mechanic for the show. So what better way to look into evolution in its entirety than to go back to where it all began? So the documentary begins with a look at Earth 4.4 billion years ago. It was just another desolate world. Barren, uninhabitable, and devoid of life. It seemed that it would be a wasteland until the sun eats the solar system for breakfast. Then out of literally nowhere, a random planet decided that having no future is better than having a future without life. The planet smashed into Earth, and there was debris flying everywhere, and it was so cool. Little did nobody at the time know that this impact would form the moon and the oceans, which is what the BBC believes created life. It's not like they gave an explanation. As water fills the earth like some sort of hostile nation in one of those insert war everyday videos, Sir Kenneth Branagh asks us,
but who would inherit this blue planet?
I don't care about the question, this intro's frickin' awesome. It sets the tone perfectly and shows us that this will be a massive leap forward from Dinosaurs and Beasts. Better special effects, having balance between entertaining and informing, and presenting a theme that will come up in every episode.
An epic war for our world.
He said epic war, that's kinda silly. I'm pumped, bruh! Our journey begins in the Cambrian period, over 500 million years ago. The Cambrian Explosion had taken place and we see all sorts of strange creatures. Only in the water though, nothing lives on land. At least, for now. Among those strange creatures are the trilobites, rather famous dudes from the Paleozoic era. For some reason they never get mentioned by name, they're just there to be feasted on by another bizarre arthropod, the Anomalocaris. As it crushes the trilobite into bits, Kenny goes into a monologue about how evil eyes are and how they started the ongoing conflict between predator and prey. This thing really takes its time eating the trilobite. It takes so long that Kenny goes into another rambling about the rise of arthropods and what the future holds for them, foreshadowing the creatures that the vertebrates will be fighting as the world changes. It's still going. Screw it, just get another one. Okay, here we get this epically awesome fight scene between 2 of these freaks in nature. What are they fighting for? Yunnan. Why? Well, China had been falling apart over and over and over again long before humans evolved, even in Cambrian times. Fossils found in Shengqiang show ancient arthropods in fighting stances with insignia next to their remains. They are warlords. They want to rule all of China, and they will fight to the death. It is here that we see the first instance of repeated footage. There's a handful of times in the documentary when footage gets recycled, but this case sticks out like a sore fin. It's lame enough to reuse animation, but here, the music is almost perfectly in sync. Finally, the battle ends when one Anomalocaris bends too far and bleeds his own blood. The victor just swims away, daydreaming about claiming the mandate of heaven. The loser is now at the mercy of the clan that loaned him $30 million in today's money, the Haiku Thieves clan. A species that is not only the first ever fish, it is also the first ever vertebrate. Their leader, Nuts, Haiku Nuts, declares that the Anomalocaris must pay off his debt by providing the clan with protection and food until it frickin' dies. But wait, there are no grocery stores in the Cambrian. How will the Anomalocaris feed the Haiku? This is only the beginning of the war for supremacy. The ancestors of humans can't live off screwing over warlords forever. The world around them is constantly changing, and to survive, they must change with it. I'm mixed on this gimmick. Of course it's cool that they connected all the stories in the series with one another, but it's easy to tell when the transition is about to be made because the model of the animal suddenly looks crappy. It looks like it's not even there in the environment, but to be fair, the model that builds on the crappy one looks pretty good and the changing textures on the new body looks really cool. Moving along now, so we make a 112 million year jump to the late Silurian. That's right, the Ordovician period was completely skipped. Honestly, the Ordovician and Silurian aren't that much different from one another, but in choosing the Silurian, the second deadliest mass extinction in history was overlooked. That's right, the Ordovician-Silurian extinction event wiped out 85% of life on Earth. The popular theory is a tectonic collision that happened in the present-day United States. These mountains are frickin' assholes! But did this need to be covered? That depends on whether or not your super-duper favorite prehistoric animal is the brachiopod. Moving on, welcome to the Silurian. When the fish began to look like fish, China was miraculously still ruled by the victor's lineage, and the squid were named after shapes.
The orthocone is a distant relative of squid and cuttlefish, but he's as long as a truck.
What, do they brag about the length of their radii? So basically in this corner, a cephalaspis, a random fish that the BBC picked to represent the human lineage in the Silurian. And in this corner, okay, snap back to reality. By reality, I mean footage of cephalaspis swimming. What suits them better, blue or green? They are on a 10 million mile long journey to the pool where they will lay their eggs. It is at this point when we see the state of land. I'm not sure if the air is breathable, and there seems to be no sign of intelligent life anywhere. Hello? Oh hey, Cooksonia. Shouldn't you be boosting the amount of oxygen in the atmosphere and serve as foreshadowing for the episodes that will precede this one? At long last, the cephalaspis have reached their destination. Now they must jump across this ridge and lay their eggs in the spawning pool. But there's a problem with that. The ridge slows the fish down, and if one gets stuck, they have to wiggle their way to the other side. While sliding into the spawning pool, they are vulnerable. After a moment of silence, Kenny says, well, there are many fish in this group, and the scorpions are dumb. The fish were without a doubt the better team. They'll come back in the fourth. Hey look, a bronto-scorpio needs to shed.
You can feel it! Look at Triple H! You can see it! He's about to explode! You can taste it!
Our ancestors have survived. They've laid their eggs and are returning to the sea. Brain has triumphed over brawn.
Damn, Kenny is so salty that if he was an ocean, you'd be able to walk on him. You know what? I've had enough of the Silurian. Simon, evolve him now. At last, with efficient lungs and sufficient limbs at their disposal, the human lineage can walk tall. Be proud. Go amphibian! Welcome to the Devonian, when the land turned into a more appealing place for the human ancestors to set up shop. The Cooksonia have blossomed into forests and have filled the air with oxygen. Yeah, remember those little bastards? This is them now. Be careful who you make fun of in middle school. The ancestor of humans at this point is the Hainerpeton, which are amphibians. Amphibians must stay by the water because their thin skin can't maintain moisture and will dry out in minutes. So they are true landlubbers. The first group with that distinction are the Arthropods, but that came with a catch. The crappy lungs that developed before all others couldn't supply their once big bodies with enough oxygen, so they had to get small. Kenny reluctantly congratulates them at first, but then gets noticeably giddy when this happens.
And now their role has been reversed. They've helped feed the growth of our amphibian ancestors.
Hey man, placoderm barbarians took over China, they're still dealing with that stuff. You know what else Kenny reluctantly does? Support our musical friend Toad, the de facto main character of this segment. Let's get this out of the way right now. Kenny hates amphibians. He just does. The hate train starts at Kenny talking about how much it sucks to be a Hainerpeton. Of course there's the issue with an amphibian's thin skin, but staying by the water is another big issue because the water is dangerous.
Oh, shit!
There are loads of other Hainerpetons swimming in the lake. With arthropods now weak and feeble, we need a new class to demonize. The shift is over. Get in the water. Have a swim. Look out for fish. They're now our enemies. Woo! Holy moly, a Stethecanthus! In a lake that is fresh water and is much bigger than what the surface makes it seem. Who am I to complain? Go boy! Guess that's why they're not called Stethecanthus's. This is a Haineria, a big fish with a bottomless pit for a stomach. It ate a whole shark in one bite, yet it still wants more. It dispassionately chases Toad, and that is the Haineria's downfall. Maybe if it put the thrill in the thrill of the hunt, it would have gotten to Toad before he escaped. So Toad is trying to protect his land. It's a lot of land. Having a lot of land means you're powerful. And girls dig powerful men. Tonight may be his last chance to show girls how powerful he is. He can't defend a lot of land forever, and the challenger will approach, instead of running away. Toad is like... And the second Hainerpeton is like, well, I'm sorry, I thought this was America. A confrontation like this can only be resolved in one way.
We'll now begin the push-up section. Ready? Begin. Down. Up. 1. Down. Up. 2. Down. Up. 3. Down. Up. 4. Down. Up. 5. Down. Up. 6. Down. Up. 7. Down. Up. 8. Down. Up. 9. Down. Up. 10. Down. Up. 11. Down. Up. 12. Down. Up. 13. Down. Up. 14. Down. Up. 15.
Hainerpeton culture states that the defender wins tiebreakers by default. Go get her, Toad. I believe in you. Morning comes. Toad hasn't. According to Kenny, this was his last chance. I guess he will be the dead end of his bloodline. Just kidding. Wait, what? Damn, that's a terrible transition. I would be freaking out right now, but I'm not eligible for monetization, so I don't care. Whoa! Haineria, more like Voyernia. At least wait a few more seconds. Ready when you are. Okay, now. Oh, she missed.
Okay.
The Haineria is just about to leave when Toad starts talking shit. There certainly was a line and Toad certainly crossed it. One thing Hainerius can't stand is naysaying. Rip Toad. His life ended, just like this video. Subscribe to my channel. Because Margaret Thatcher didn't subscribe to my channel.